Hi, this is Robbie with Tickner Photography. I had an idea for a photo a couple days ago using kind of dark emotions. So this one is Betrayal. The idea is to get a picture of someone, in this case me, because I don't have a model. I'll be holding a dead rose in my hand, kind of a sad look on my face, whatever I can muster. But the key of this image is the shadow. The shadow is going to be cast on a white background, and I'm going to have myself, again, so the shadow will be different than the person standing. It'll be holding a knife or something, like about to stab someone in the back. So it's dark emotions, kind of betrayal, that's what I think. So to do this, we're going to have to take a couple different images and stack them together. We'll need one of me, just the subject in the front holding the rose, and then we're going to need a separate one that's just the shadow. And once I have this shadow, I'll be able to replace the background. I can change it to any background we want, assuming it's a flat surface wall. And we can also change the foreground subject out. So I'm going to studio isolate each one in different layers. So this will be something we can reuse different times. But for now, we'll just do a simple setup with me here as the main subject and the shadow in the background. And then we'll put it all together in Photoshop and see what it looks like. So we're going to need two images for this. The first one will be me standing here, properly illuminated. I'm going to have a beauty dish, kind of Rembrandt-style lighting coming down at me, so my face will be illuminated. It'll be a little bit dramatic, but it'll be good lighting. The second shot for the shadow, we need really strong, harsh shadow. So we're going to take the beauty dish off. We're going to put just the simple reflector on the alien bee, probably at a much lower angle, a little bit further back, and see if we can create a really harsh shadow, just so we'll be capturing the shadow in the background. So let's start putting this together. Alright, I think I have something set up. We're going to be at 1/250th of a second, the maximum sync speed, f14. I have my alien bee up here and a softbox on the side as a rim light. So now I'm going to take this shot of just myself and try to conjure up some kind of emotion, and then we'll work on the shadow second. I have my intervalometer, so I'll just have this fire off 20 shots, and then hopefully it'll get something okay. Alright, I think one of those may work, or it's good enough. I'll reshoot more. There'll be a layer, so I can easily change them out, or replace myself with someone else. That's the beauty of this. Alright. So now we're going to work on just the shadow. This one will be a little bit different. We're going to change the lighting position and our modifier. So let's get started on that. Okay, so now we're starting to work on the shadow. I've moved my light source down so it's at a much lower angle. It's right here. I've switched the light modifier to just the reflector. And I'm going to use a wider angle because I don't really care about myself. I'm going to studio isolate that. So I'm going to get the whole background and try and just isolate the shadow itself. So let's see how this works. Alright, that kind of worked. We need a light source further away so it's smaller in relation, so it will be a harsher light. So let's shuffle some things around. Alright, I think we might be able to make this work. This is actually pretty difficult to get this shadow just right. So I'm going to grab a knife, set up my timer, and I'll experiment with this, see if we can get the right shape and direction of shadow. Alright, I think we may have got something. Let's take these into Lightroom and take a peek, and hopefully they're okay. Then we'll take them into Photoshop, merge them together, and see what we can get. So here we are in Lightroom, and we got a couple pictures that I think we can make work. So this and this are the two that I'm going to combine together. Myself and the shadow, and then we'll use that to create this. So let's get started. Let's open these two as layers in Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop. The first thing I'm going to do is adjust my canvas size and then resize a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier to work with. So first we'll make the canvas quite large, and now I'm going to resize it to, say, 75%. So it'll be a little bit easier to work with. because I'm recording this on video. Also going to switch it over to 8-bit, so it's not going to be gigantic. Alright, so here are the two layers we're working with. Let's organize ourselves. Alright, now let's cut out our subject. This should be relatively easy just because it's on a white background. So let's go through here. Good, that's pretty good. Do a rough chop right now, and then we'll refine our layer to get a little bit better. Refine our edges. Not too shabby for a super first draft. We're going to cut this out by hand. So there we are, we have smart radius. We're going to create a new layer with layer mask. So now let me just clean this up just a little bit. And this will be really quick and dirty for this demo purpose. And just put back some of the major pieces that are automatic layer masking removed. Okay, that'll work, that'll work. Put back some of my arm. Alright, really quick and dirty. So there, I'm partially studio isolated. Now we'll start playing with our shadow. So the shadow is definitely too small currently. So we're going to have to do a layer mask on this, and then we will warp it. So now we'll try and select most of our shadow here. Alright, that's a quick and dirty shadow. Create a layer mask around that. Quickly remove some of this. Not super important to get perfect because we're going to use a blending mode that can take care of this. Alright, so we'll move subject maybe right around here. Now let's start warping this. Make a copy so I have it to go back to. Free transform, and let's start warping. Okay, something like that. Now let's go get our background. So I have this brick background, but it needs quite a bit of work. So let's start making it look a little bit better first. So the first thing we got to do to make this brick look a little bit better is add some adjustment layers on here. I'm going to go hue and saturation, one a little bit darker, quite a bit less saturated, a little bit yellower. Alright, that's probably pretty good there. We'll add another adjustment layer. We're going to go with curves. Okay, something like that. We're going to darken this guy up a lot in another step. Maybe another hue and saturation. Drop that a little bit more. Okay, something like that should work. So now we can play with our blending modes a little bit. We'll go with a soft light. We may have to do a couple versions of that. We're going to also adjust our curves. Oops. On this guy. And then we'll adjust our opacity. Oh, not on that. On this. And we'll also adjust our layer mask. So this will lighten up our edges. And in my final version, I actually did a displacement map on the shadow itself to make it follow the brick contour just a little bit more. Okay, and now something to do with our brick background. We can add render, a lighting effect, and something like this. With that. Now we'll probably want to move this guy a little bit closer. And there you kind of get an idea. We can do a final crop. And that's pretty close to my final vision. An idea of betrayal. Someone holding a rose with a shadow that's trying to kill them. And that was my final version. A little bit cleaner, but effectively constructed the same way. So I hope you found this somewhat useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.